The Slam episode 22 is finally here. I am your host, Tango with Ango. You guys know me as Ango, and today I'm bringing you guys some really exciting pro wrestling news. Here on the show, you may notice that it looks a little bit different, but that's because I have to give a huge shout out to Elgato Gaming. If you guys didn't know, the Elgato Gaming green screen is finally in stock. So if you guys want to have cool picture-in-picture overlays and streams and all that cool stuff, Elgato Gaming is going to be your source. I got the Elgato Gaming green screen. I'm using it with my Logitech C920 webcam just to show you guys how easy it is to have your own web show online. Now, you guys may see the show looking a little bit different throughout all the episodes because I have so much cool equipment and so many different things I could do. So the potential is really endless. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think of the Elgato Gaming green screen in the comment section down below. Now let's get started with today's news. It's really big if you're a pro wrestling fan. You probably may have seen the infamous bump that Daniel Bryan took at WWE Clash of Champions. Now, if you guys seen the bump, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Daniel Bryan took a physical hit in a WWE ring, even though supposedly he's not medically cleared. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, the hit wasn't that big. It was more like a shove. He fell over, whatever the case may be. However, WWE has been very, very stern and very strict when it comes to professional wrestling with no clearance from a doctor. And this is where the drama begins with Daniel Bryan. Now, we have to kind of talk about the Daniel Bryan story because it's really big news. Daniel Bryan has been kind of controversial in a sense because he hasn't been cleared for in-ring activity. And what I mean by that is he was forced to retire and the WWE doctors would not allow him to get, back in the ring. Now, it's been said that Daniel Bryan has seen personal doctors and things like that, and the doctors have told him that he is good to go. And throughout time, it just seems that more and more reports of WWE saying that Daniel Bryan would not be cleared kind of has been the situation. Now, of course, in the last month and a half, there's been plenty of rumors about Daniel Bryan and where he stands as far as in-ring ability and where he stands as far as whether or not he would pass his medical tests. Now, Daniel Bryan feels confident that he could get back in the ring, compete at a high level, but will the doctors actually let him do it? Well, reports are coming out now that Daniel Bryan is expected to return to WWE at some point. Whether it is WrestleMania or SummerSlam is the big question. However, WWE wants to protect Daniel Bryan in this situation, so you guys may notice that Daniel Bryan is not on a full-time schedule. So if you're a pro wrestling fan, that means you're not going to see Daniel Bryan compete every single day, every single house show, every taping, every pay-per-view. That's not what it looks like here. What it looks like is Daniel Bryan's going to be given the opportunity to get back in the ring at some point and do a part-time schedule. Probably something more similar to Brock Lesnar, which I think that's actually a great idea, especially with a guy like Daniel Bryan when you look at his, just some of his star power and stuff like that. I think the days of Daniel Bryan competing in 2 matches in one night and stuff like that, I think that's just long gone. I think when you really think of Daniel Bryan, I think, he's spent so much time away from the WWE that it completely makes sense for him specifically to be on a part-time schedule. Now, the good news here is WWE has actually started playing this into the storyline. Now, if you've probably seen SmackDown Live in the past few weeks, you may have noticed that they completely reiterate that Daniel Bryan's not cleared to wrestle. They have shown, time and time again that Daniel Bryan, he took a choke slam from Kane, but obviously they didn't show it. They've teased several times that Daniel Bryan might get into the ring, and obviously with him and Shane McMahon, the big question is there. Now, the rumored match at the time of these reports were that Daniel Bryan would first compete against Shane McMahon, which I absolutely love. A lot of people may not like that, but when you look at their ring styles, I think it just makes so much sense. Now, we do have to keep a couple things in mind in this situation. Daniel Bryan has been away from the ring for a long time, so hopefully it doesn't result in a disaster, and one has to really wonder what kind of match quality he's going to have because he's really got to tone it down with his in-ring style. Now, in this situation where Daniel Bryan is expected to be at SummerSlam or WrestleMania, it's actually really good news for me because for those who don't know, me and my co-host here on the Slam, Nukes, actually just purchased the full trip. So we actually booked the Evolve, Progress, NXT, Hall of Fame, Raw, SmackDown, and WrestleMania. So that's actually really huge because it's going to be my first ever WrestleMania. And I'm really, really hoping, especially with these reports coming out that Daniel Bryan will be able to compete potentially, this is going to be a big deal, obviously, if I could see his return match. Now, WWE actually had launched an article where they kind of teased the idea of Daniel Bryan getting back in the ring, and that has also kind of helped, build the hype around these articles and rumors that have come out. Now, obviously, with that being said, if Daniel Bryan does return to WWE, one has to really think about long-term plan. Long-term creative, as well as, what's the big step for Daniel Bryan. Obviously, currently his role on SmackDown Live is the SmackDown Live general manager. And if you guys didn't know, with him getting into the ring with the commissioner, there's a lot of potential for SmackDown Live to change in a very big and drastic way. And obviously, many would probably assume that another superstar shakeup or WWE draft would end up happening because the two people that are behind the power of SmackDown Live, the authority figures, would no longer be in that situation. Now, that's where the question mark really begins, because with Daniel Bryan, I think it's inevitable that at some point he is going to return. WrestleMania 34 is when he's expected to make his return, and we would see him as a part-timer, which I think would be great. Now, the big question mark here, obviously, that a lot of people kind of have in mind is whether or not Daniel Bryan will stay in the WWE. And if he does stay in the WWE, what's his role going to be after? Especially when you look at the general manager authority figure, in terms of television and creative, they never usually last long. We saw Mick Foley for about, a year and a half. And then, of course, Kurt Angle, which we know Kurt Angle is going to get in the ring at WrestleMania. So more than likely, he's no longer going to be general manager. There's a lot of questions in regards to this role. So obviously a superstar shakeup or a new draft would happen. If Daniel Bryan does, in fact, go part-time, it's really interesting to see what kind of role he has, what kind of matches they give him. And obviously at this point, it really makes a big difference. Now, with his contract expiring, it's been said that if Daniel Bryan does not return to the ring in WWE, he will, in fact, go to ROH, New Japan, or some other organization. That's really shitty. That's a really shitty feeling because Daniel Bryan at this point is kind of like a WWE guy. Many people want to see him in WWE. So they're obviously very curious as to see what would happen in that situation. Now, me personally, I can't speak for everybody, but with Daniel Bryan coming back to the Shane McMahon feud, I think it makes a lot of sense to put him in the ring with Shane McMahon. I think Shane McMahon could be a safe worker. I don't think you're going to see Daniel Bryan doing too many diving headbutts or German suplexes or anything that would allow him to hurt his neck or his back. So that's kind of it. Daniel Bryan slated to return at WrestleMania 34. It's pretty big news. Like I said, the WWE article kind of points and hints at a possible return. And obviously, many reports have come out since. So I'm really excited to see what happens with WWE in the stage of the game. But then keep in mind, guys, this is Daniel Bryan we're talking about. I'm pretty sure the match of the time that Daniel Bryan returns in a match is the moment that Daniel Bryan potentially, if I'm just going to be honest with you guys, I think it's going to be where everybody has their eyes on Daniel Bryan. Any fall, any drastic spot that is done, they're going to obviously really pay attention to the referee, any sort of ringside signals, because you obviously don't want to have any injuries or anything happen like that. Now, in this situation, too, I do want to make a very quick note. There was a rumor that Daniel Bryan could be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble that would actually allow him to win the Royal Rumble. I haven't seen any sort of sources or anything that would validate that claim. However, if we were to see Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble, Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles would be a very, very, very big surprise match. And I'm really curious to see how that would play out. Storyline-wise, it just doesn't make sense, but that was a rumor. That was a report that had come out. So Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Now, if you guys want to participate on the Slam, there's a couple things you guys can do, because I've seen people, they've asked about being featured. They've seen a couple previous episodes. They've seen my co-host. They've seen when TonyPizzaGuy was also a guest. If you guys want to be a part of the Slam, that's very easy. Go ahead and message me on Twitter. I'm taking submissions for people to join me. I'm also taking call-ins and stuff like that. I'll give you guys a lot more insight on how all that's going to work in a future episode. And then if you guys didn't know, we did launch a Facebook group for the Slam. So if you guys want to join the discussion, we use this group page as a way to live communicate during Raw, SmackDown, Clash of Champions, and all other pay-per-views. So let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow for episode 23 of the Slam. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Tango with Tango, and I'm out.